Okay, making a Philosopher's Roundtable video. We're going to start by discussing the word choice, because that came up a lot in the Zombie Picture Show initial video, and then the words I and you, and then we're going to discuss the Redux vid. So starting off with Zombie Picture Show's argument about choice and alternatives. Look, to me, I agree with Gary in the sense that choice is, I think, an illusion. By the time you think about, well, do I want to eat a peanut butter sandwich or a tuna fish sandwich, it's really already predetermined by the subconscious, which is already whirring along, gathering together the pros and the cons, and it's going to fall one way or the other. And that is determinism. There is no external actor that's mulling over one alternative versus another, agree or disagree. The falling one way or another is the choice, but that's really not a choice that you made. Again, you being a spectator and not the actual, decider. Now, in response to my contention that I don't know if there's really a you. He, I guess, talks about, look, I need to be more precise in the way I word things. I wasn't referring to you in the sense of other humans being physically present on planet Earth in the second person. What I meant was, and this is maybe where I'll refine my statement, my brain being a mechanism of my subconscious that's programmed by past experiences and knowledge and all of that, thinks that the use of the word you to refer to another brain's consciousness is flawed consciousness. Because the consciousness is again, it's merely spectating your subconscious, which is where we get into the discussion of will. And I agree with Gary that the will is a manifestation of the subconscious and not the conscious brain. And so that is where the disconnect is. You're using the word you to describe the conscious brain when we're wanting to discuss the subconscious, in other words. Now, going on to the Redux vid, initially there's this comment about, personal responsibility in society and survival. Well, I just want to extend Gary's remarks very quickly that just because we hold someone accountable for their actions in society doesn't really matter, and it certainly doesn't prove freedom. And I'd like to reference the rabid dog example. Education and deterrence work, and that's all part of this determinism, and it's part of the, again, like Gary said, the swirling mess that's actually clockwork. And then what I want to finish on here is this about the there's no good and bad will, and all that's important is to listen to the conscience, and what the Jiminy Cricket, in other words, type of story. And so when Jiminy Cricket says listen to your conscience, what he's saying is listen to your empathic subconscious, and there's no alternative to listening to your subconscious. I mean, what he was really saying is listen to empathy, or I guess accentuate or reprioritize empathy, because suffering sucks. And I agree with that message, and I think that supports the existence of, yes, there is, you can say actions are good or bad. So then ending on this discussion about best possible outcome, and this phraseology about best possible outcome, it's not about best possible outcome, it's about, in the sense that there's a brain mulling things over, it's about this hierarchy. It demonstrates that there are these constraints, and that in your subconscious, the fact that you didn't even acknowledge this aspect until you heard yourself say the words, oh, oh, when you heard, you didn't even acknowledge that aspect until you heard yourself qualifying your own statement at the end of the video about, oh, the best possible outcome that doesn't involve the brain hurting others or whatever it is. I think that in and of itself is just proof of determinism, because that the constraints that you impose here, oh, the best possible outcome that doesn't involve hurting others or whatever, that and doesn't hurting others or whatever, that is whatever. That's a constraint that you imposed, and you didn't even acknowledge that until you heard yourself say it, which is, I think, just kind of anecdotal evidence of determinism. But anyway, this is probably too long, so I'll cut it off. Thank you.